You are listening to Sectional Championship Previews and Predictions with Greg and Michelle only on the Central Indiana Sports Report. Welcome, high school football fans, to the Central Indiana Sports Report for our Week 12 high school football previews and predictions. And, of course, Michelle Garmon joins me. Michelle, Week 12 means sectional championships.
It just seems so impossible that here we are talking about the first of the steps to the state tournament sectional championship week, when it seems like just a couple of weeks ago we were talking what seasons were going to look like and trying to predict or talking about who conference favorites were going to be. Now we're down to sectional, and we already have a lot of teams eliminated.
That's right. A lot of good teams eliminated.
Yes.
And not very many, but a few not very good teams still left in the sectional championships. Mostly very good teams. And so our picks competition, you and I take on the local media. The picks have gotten a lot harder this week.
It's fun to get to this stage because do you go with your gut or do you research it and go with statistics? I kind of like to go with tradition, coaching, and who's playing well. Stats are stats. They don't always tell the whole story. And then my gut, because, sometimes you just have a gut feeling like.
A reminder to everyone, this is how it goes. Every game is worth 10 points. The more a team is a favorite, the fewer points they're worth. Another way of saying that, the bigger underdog they are, the more points they're worth. And as I said, Michelle and I take on the rest of the local media. And Week 11's co-winners, Kevin Helfrich, who was already in the lead and has taken a commanding lead now, and Daniel Bragg of Bragg Sports Media both scored 95. Elijah Poe of the Ball State Daily News and our IndyCar guy, 94. Michelle keeps moving up the charts. She scored 92. And Kyle Nedenrip, the only other person in competition with Kevin, Michelle, and Elijah Poe, scored 91. And I scored a shameful 79.
Now, let's be honest, Greg. Some of that was you've been trying to make up ground, and some weeks you've been getting that.
A little bit of that. Also, I've not been very good at that this year. So the score through 11 weeks, Kevin Helfrich of the Action Sports Network leads the way with 992 points. Then Kyle Nedenrip of the Indianapolis Star, 970. Michelle Garmon of the Tipton Tribune and Elwood Call Leader, 959. And Elijah Poe of the Ball State Daily News, 957. The rest of us, Daniel Bragg, Jay Stevens of the Kokomo Post, Grant Schaus of the Action Sports Network, Cade Hampton of the Muncie Star Press, Sam Frick of A&EC Sports, and I are mathematically eliminated. And normally, as we've done this through the year, we start with the least competitive games and work our way to the most competitive games. But in the postseason, we start with the first number sectional. And in our area, that is sectional 3. Also, Michelle and I did 8 sectional previews, and we have more in-depth picks on those. So go check them out. This is going to be our quick picks of all these sectionals in our local area and our extended regional area. And we start, like I said, with sectional 3, and that is the big one. We have 8-2 Westfield at 9-1 Carmel. Westfield, ranked 6th, is the defending champion. In fact, they're the 5-time defending champion. Carmel is 9-1. They're ranked 2nd in the state. Of course, 9-0 against teams from Indiana, including a 34-10 win over the Shamrocks in Week 2, ending a 3-game losing streak against Westfield. And before we get to your pick, Michelle, congratulations to Anthony Colner for becoming the Greyhounds' all-time leading passer.
Yeah, I'm very happy for Anthony Colner. I don't think anybody who's listened to this podcast in the past would be surprised by that. I dog sit for the Colner family, and it's a really nice family. Chad and his mother Allie, and they're just very nice people. And kids are they're great kids and hard workers. Anthony has really put in a lot of time. So big kudos to him. I mean, Mark Herman, that's That's
Tall
impressive. Kudos to the entire Carmel squad. And Coach Kevin Wright, what a turnaround from the last couple years, actually.
And it's been since 2020 since Carmel's won a sectional. Surprisingly, of course, as we mentioned, Westfield's won all of them. And Michelle, I have Westfield, the underdog in this one, worth 6 points. Carmel at home worth 4. Who are you taking?
I am taking the Greyhounds. I really believe Carmel can get all the way to Lucas Oil Stadium Thanksgiving weekend.
I think Westfield can get all the way to Lucas Oil Stadium.
Definitely. Let's put it this way. The winner of this game is probably going to be playing at Lucas Oil Stadium after Thanksgiving.
Everything says take Carmel, but I'm going to take Westfield. They weren't completely healthy, as Kyle has told us in week 2. They weren't at their best, and I have a feeling, and it's just a feeling, that it's going to be Westfield's night. Give me the Shamrocks.
Well, I do like it that they're playing at Carmel, and I saw today where it's going to be a blue out there. So I think what Kevin Wright has also done is brought a lot of student and fan enthusiasm back. So that should be a great sectional game and great
2 great coaches in that one.
Yes.
We move to sectional 4, and that's also in Hamilton County. It's 6-4 Hamilton Southeastern at 7-3 Fishers. The Royals ranked 11th. The Tigers ranked 9th. Fishers is the defending champion and won the Mudsock game, the rivalry game, in the regular season, 28-16. It's their 3rd straight win over Hamilton Southeastern, but all 3 of those games came down to the 4th quarter. This is a far more experienced Fishers team than Hamilton Southeastern, but you never know in this rivalry, do you?
I would not be surprised at all if Hamilton Southeastern shocked Fishers. I just think Hamilton Southeastern may be a year or 2 away from really reestablishing dominance over Fishers. Because of that, I'm going to take...
Got a really good freshman quarterback.
Yes, but I'm going to take Fishers this week just because I think they are a little bit more experienced. And I think when you have teams that are kind of evenly talented to match, that experience becomes a factor.
I agree with you. Fishers is going to win this game. They're the more experienced team. Plus, they have Gage Sturgill and Vincent Rossi, and that, to me, is probably all they're going to need for at least this week. Next week is going to be a different story. The winner of Hamilton Southeastern Fishers plays the winner of Westfield Carmel for the regional and the Hamilton County Championship. And Michelle, now we move to Hendricks County for the Hendricks County Championship and the Sectional 5 Championship between number 1 Brownsburg and number 12 Avon. The Orioles come into the game 6-4. They haven't won a sectional championship since they went back-to-back in 17 and 18. They take on top-ranked, unbeaten, defending state champion Brownsburg, which just completed its 2nd straight regular season unbeaten, then beat Pike 43-14 last week to set up a big one. Brownsburg is unbeaten. Maybe their biggest test of the year came against Avon, a 55-47 game. Avon's offense may have figured something out with Brownsburg. Who knows? I have Avon worth 7 points, Brownsburg worth 3, Michelle.
I think that first game was kind of an anomaly. I think Brownsburg's defense has gotten back to being pretty good since then. The games at Brownsburg, Oscar Fry and the Sharp kid, they're just too much, I think. And that experience again, Brownsburg's been there. Success. I'll take Brownsburg, the Bulldogs.
By the way, this is the 73rd time these two teams have played. And in Sectional 6, it is number 8 Decatur Central, which has won 8 games in a row against number 13 Lawrence Central, which came into the sectional under 500. Everybody knew, though, that they were a pretty good under 500 team. And they upset Lawrence North in a thriller and now host the sectional championship against Decatur Central, a 5A team playing up because of their success. Michelle, I have both teams worth 5 points. Who are you taking?
Oh, this is so tough. Decatur Central had an easier time last week because they played North Central last week. So I'm sure they didn't really overlook them, but I think it was not as taxing on them mentally and physically as what Lawrence Central went through with their game against Lawrence North. It is really tough, but I think I'm going to go for the upset. I think I'm going to pick Decatur Central this week because of that. I won't be surprised if Lawrence Central wins, and good luck to them if they do, because they will have earned it, of course, but I'm going to take Decatur Central.
Yeah, I'm taking Decatur Central too. I like the way they're playing. There was a time earlier this season where they weren't ranked. I was like, they're 0-2. They should still be ranked even in 6A. They're that good. You lose to New Pal and Avon. It's no shame. I'm taking Decatur Central to win this, but I like the way Lawrence Central's playing. I won't be surprised. And I miss all the picks, so it's probably going to be Lawrence Central anyway. Michelle, just 2 5A sectional championship games in our area. We start with sectional number 12, where it's third-ranked Lafayette Jeff at 4-6 Kokomo. The Broncos are 9-1 and have won 9 games in a row since opening the season with a loss to Chatard. They're the defending champions. They've won 2 of the last 3, and they'll be heavy favorites going in to Kokomo. First year under Caleb Small has gotten better and better as the season has gone on, but I have Lafayette Jeff worth 2, Kokomo worth 8. Tempted to take the upset.
No, I have a lot of respect for Caleb Small, and I think he is one of the top young coaches, high school football coaches in the state of Indiana. He's a great football mind, and what he's done at Kokomo is really good. But Lafayette Jeff, they just got studs.
They're full of Division I players.
Yes, they are. I think it's the Broncos' time. Actually, both of these schools for years have just been known as like basketball schools, and it's always nice when their football teams step up. And Lafayette Jeff, their football team is really good. They were good last year. They're better this year.
Both of us are taking Jeff. And then sectional 13, Michelle, is the big one. Number 1, New Pal. Number 2, Cathedral. I made Cathedral worth 6 points in this one. New Pal worth 4. Of course, the Dragons are 10-0. The defending 4A state champions. I guess they're not defending if they're not playing in that tournament again.
Right. They're the reigning, yes.
The reigning champions until someone else takes their position. Cathedral's 7-3, but it's a really good 7-3. Michelle.
I think Westfield Carmel is the game of the week for 6A. I think Cathedral, New Palestine is the game of the week for 5A. People might look at that and say, Cathedral's got 3 losses. New Pal's not been really challenged, but Cathedral also plays more of a 6A schedule. So they beat Center Grove, and I'm telling you, that's a great win.
Yeah.
Cathedral has been there. They've done that. They've had a lot of success, tournament success. But this may be one of New Pal's best teams ever. You and I said last year they would roll to the 5A or to the 4A state title, and they did exactly that. I think that this is a shame. This is a sectional championship because this matchup should be a semi-state because to me, these are the 2 best 5A teams in the South, and it should be decided in a semi-state.
It should be the state finals.
Well, yes, actually, true.
They're on the border of North and South.
Yes.
There's no reason they couldn't have split them.
You're right, because if I was to pick the top 2 favorites to win 5A, it would be these 2. So
yeah, I think one of these 2 is winning the state championship.
Me too.
Nothing against Lafayette Jeff. Nothing against Bloomington South or Concord or any of these teams. But the state champion is going to be New Pal or Cathedral.
I wouldn't be surprised at all if Cathedral wins. And part of this is my concern if I'm New Pal is Cathedral has been tested. They've had to play 4 quarters a lot this year. New Pal hasn't had to play 4 full quarters at all. New Pal's team, they have a lot of really good athletes because I don't think you roll through the season like you have, whether it's 4A or 5A, unless you're really, really good. I'm going to take New Pal. Part of that is I think New Pal's a great story. I'm going to root for the Dragons, and I'm going to pick the Dragons. Although I said I won't be surprised if Cathedral pulls out a 1-score game.
I won't be surprised, but I think New Pal is the better team, and I think Cathedral's going to need some breaks in the game. Things go their way to win this game because I think New Pal is just that good. I'd be interested to see what New Pal could do against 6A, and I think we're going to find out. Like the Jeff Kokomo game, which I forgot to mention, the Lebanon Logansport Sectional 20 Championship game in Class 4A is one that we did a full preview on. Please go check that out for our full prediction. Michelle, I have both teams worth 5 points. 9-2 Lebanon. It's been since 1997 since they won one. 8-3 Logansport. They've only won 4 in program history. One of them's going to get a big sectional championship. Michelle, you taking Lebanon or Logansport?
Logansport's part of the Hoosier Conference, which is what Tipton is. So I probably should take Logansport. But I'm not. Lebanon is the better team, and I'm taking the Tigers.
Yeah, Lebanon's had a really tough schedule. They've handled it pretty well. First year for Coach Josh Yoder. Transfer quarterback Chris Hill's been really good. I'll be surprised if it's not Lebanon. I won't be shocked, though. Logansport is definitely capable of winning this, but give me Lebanon, too. By the way, I should also mention that the Kokomo Jeff preview, we had Jay Stevens of the Kokomo Post and Kokomo head coach Caleb Small. On the Lebanon Logansport preview, we had Lebanon reporter, sports editor Will Williams. We had Rob Hunt of the Herald Bulletin and Kate Hampton of the Muncie Star Press and Pendleton Heights head coach Jed Richmond to talk about the Sectional 21 championship between Hoosier Heritage Conference rivals Yorktown and Pendleton Heights, who played a really good game just a couple of weeks ago. A 24-22 win by Pendleton. The Arabians are 10-1. Yorktown got a first-round bye in the sectional, so they're 8-2. Michelle, I have Yorktown worth 6, Pendleton Heights worth 4. Who are you taking?
I'm taking Pendleton Heights. I predicted Pendleton Heights to win this sectional. I'm not backing off from it. Yorktown will present a challenge. They have Nate Luzader, who he was a Frankton Eagle the previous 3 years. He's a load. He's a good running back. He's fast, quick, strong. But I just think this Pendleton Heights team may be destined. Once New Pal moved up, I know the first meeting was close, and I wouldn't be surprised if the second one's close. It's at Pendleton Heights. We talked to their coach. I just like his demeanor heading into, and I think into this matchup. I think his team is focused. Give me Pendleton Heights.
The champion of Sectional 21 will have the unfortunate task of having to take on the Sectional 22 champion, which features 6th ranked Roncalli against number 3 Chatard. Chatard 9-2, Roncalli 8-3. The only difference is that Chatard beat Roncalli 33-11. I think it was about 5-6 weeks ago. So they are clearly the favorites, but either one of these teams is probably going to be the favorite in the South when it's all said and done, along with Heritage Hills. Michelle, is it going to be Roncalli or Chatard? The Royals were 7. The Trojans were 3.
Tipton has suffered heartbreaking losses to both of these schools in the history. They've both eliminated the Blue Devils.
Chatard, by the way, has won the most sectional championships with 32, tied with Carmel.
I think Chatard is better right now. I will pick Chatard to win. I think I picked Chatard to win the sectional.
You did pick Chatard before, and you're picking them again.
Okay.
So am I, but I don't think it's going to be 22 points this time.
No, it's not going to be 22
is
points.
Playing very well, and their quarterback, Colin Ash, is a good one. He doesn't want to go out. And I wouldn't be shocked if there's an upset here, but I got to take Chatard. I think they're the favorites to win it all. We move to Class 3A, and Sectional 27 is another one that we will have a preview of later on Friday. And that features Twin Lakes and Western. On that one, we had Jay Stevens of the Kokomo Post and Western head coach Austin Colby to talk about that one. Twin Lakes is 9-2. Western is 8-3. The Indians were ranked 9th. The Panthers ranked 18th. And again, the only difference in their record is that Twin Lakes beat Western 22-15 in the regular season finale. Michelle, it's been 23 years since Twin Lakes won a sectional championship. It's been 18 years since Western's won a sectional championship, but one of them's going to win it.
Yeah, one of them is going to win it.
Both teams worth 5, by the way.
Both teams are outstanding teams. Both teams are well-coached teams. Different styles. Twin Lakes is a spread them out, pro-style offense. We're going to spread you wide, and we're going to look for mismatches in your secondary. And once we get you spread wide, we're also going to sneak in a few runs to where you can't stack the box. Western is we want to control time of possession. We're going to line up toe-to-toe, and we're just going to try to run it down your throats. I'm going to take Twin Lakes. Kevin O'Shea is really good. That junior quarterback is really good. He's got different weapons that he can use. Western doesn't have that same ability to come back from a deficit like Twin Lakes, which they did the first time they played Western. Western scored the first 15 points of the game, and then Twin Lakes dominated the second half. So that's why I will take Twin Lakes. I just like that explosive offense. And we saw it in person, Greg.
Give me Twin Lakes. next year. I'm going to take Western this year. I think Twin Lakes is a year away from being pretty special. Amazing story, Western going from winless last year to a possible sectional championship this year. I love the story. Hope it happens, and I'm going to pick it to happen. Sectional 28 is another game where I have both teams worth 5. It's 6th-ranked Mississinewa at home against 10th-ranked Luers. Mississinewa's 10-1. Luers is 6-5. Luers has won 28 sectional championships, and they are the 3-time defending champions. Mississinewa won sectional championships in 2017, 2019, 2021, and 2023. So it's their year, Michelle, right?
Yeah, I will personally root for Mississinewa, but I am picking Luers. I picked them to win this sectional, so I'm going to stay with them. But my heart will be rooting for Mississinewa on Friday night.
By the way, we'll be joined by Grant Schaus of the Action Sports Network and Mississinewa's Jeremy Lochner as we preview Sectional 28 again, coming out a little later today. And Michelle, I've been telling you since the beginning of this thing that Luers is not the same Luers. I know you don't believe me, but it's true. And Mississinewa is going to win this game, and they're going to win it handily. It's not going to be a blowout by any means, but it's not going to come down to the last play. Mississinewa is going to control this game. They're going to win this game, and they're going to win the regional next week.
We'll see.
Sectional 29 is where we find Guerin Catholic at Cascade. Guerin Catholic 7-4, ranked 16th. Cascade 11-0, ranked 3rd. Michelle, I have the Golden Eagles were 7. The Cadets were 3. Who are you taking?
I've picked Cascade all the way through. That is a special team, and we learned a lot last week with just how well they dominated Tri-West. Cascade's for real. I won't be surprised at all if they are not at Lucas Oil representing Class 3A after Thanksgiving.
It'll be them or Gibson Southern. I'm pretty certain of that.
Probably, and that would be a great game. I just think Cascade is one of those teams.
So many different weapons. They can come at you from every direction.
Yes.
They are so well coached. I think they might win this whole thing. I really do.
I agree.
Gibson Southern just beat Evansville Memorial. They are, by extension, now the favorites to win it all. But I'm not surprised at all if Cascade wins this thing. They're that good.
Yes.
Kind of came from out of nowhere, but they're that good.
Yes, they are.
Michelle, most of our schools in our area, the CIC, the Hoosier Conference, are Class 2A, and therefore we have 4 Class 2A sectionals to preview, and we start with Sectional 34, where it's 10-1 Southmont at 8-3 Lewis Cass. Southmont, big win last week over Western Boone, 48-12. We both picked Western Boone to win that game. Lewis Cass has been playing very well, too, coming off a 55-14 win over previously unbeaten Seeger. Michelle, I have Southmont worth 4, Cass at home worth 6, where they love playing. Who are you taking?
Well, like I've told you all season long, Cass is a little bit better team at home. That's a hard place to go. What Southmont did to Western Boone is real impressive, and how they bounced back from getting dominated by Cascade at the end of the season to put that behind them and plow through their sectional is so far is impressive. I believe Southmont is going to win this sectional.
Give me Southmont, too. I think they're going to win in fairly easy fashion in this one. Great season by Lewis Cass, and nice run here. It's going to come to an end. Sectional 36, we have 10-1 and 13th ranked Eastern at unbeaten 5th ranked Eastbrook. Eastern, the defending champion. Eastbrook seems like the team of destiny, the team that you picked to win this sectional originally. I have the Comets worth 6, the Panthers worth 4. Michelle, I assume you're sticking with Eastbrook.
I'm sticking with Eastbrook. I really like Josh Edwards. I got to cover him at his first coaching job at Tri Central. He's a great guy. And what he's done at Eastern is just phenomenal. And that's his alma mater. And Eastern has what has been Eastbrook's weakness in the past. The ability to throw the ball with multiple receivers to throw to have speed in Caleb Hurt, Bentley Hollinger, and Cody Tarr, and then Owen Toll, who can do things. But that said, the most dynamic player in this sectional, and perhaps the most dynamic player in Class 2A, at least in the North, is four-year starting quarterback Bodie Howe of Eastbrook. And he's the reason I picked Eastbrook to win this sectional. And he is still living up to everything. I think he is on a mission. He's a great leader and a good young man, and I believe he's going to lead the Panthers to victory on Friday night. But I will tell you this, Eastern won't make it easy.
That's for sure, and I think it's pretty close to a toss-up. I think Eastern is that good, the way they can score on the ground, through the air. The defense has struggled a little bit, but there have been times where their defense has been really good. We know, of course, Abe Edwards is a standout on defense, but I have to take Eastbrook. They've made me look like a fool once already in this sectional, picking Alexandria, although, come on. But give me the Panthers.
It's Eastbrook with Bodie Howe.
And again, go check out that sectional preview. We had not only Jay Stevens of the Kokomo Post and Grant Schaus of the Action Sports Network on talking about that one. We also had both head coaches, Jeff Adamson of Eastbrook, Josh Edwards of Eastern. So go check that one out. And in sectional 37, it's 10-1 Lutheran, the four-time defending sectional champion. At 7-4 Heritage Christian, which of course Heritage plays a great schedule for a Class 2A program. I have Lutheran worth 4, Heritage Christian worth 6. Michelle, can Heritage Christian make Lutheran's 3-year run as regional champions, Michelle?
Be nice if Heritage Christian could. They're going to be playing at their place. I think they are playing better of late, but I believe Lutheran will win this game.
Give me Lutheran as well. And sectional 38, our final Class 2A sectional in the south of the state. It is 10-1 and 7th ranked Triton Central at 11-0 and 3rd ranked Lapel. And you talk about great ones. I have Triton Central worth 6, Lapel worth 4. Lapel 11-0 for the first time in program history. Triton Central coming off a huge 49-6 win over number 15 Northeastern. Michelle, the Tigers for 6, the Bulldogs for 4.
I'm going to say this. I will not be surprised if Triton Central wins that game. I picked Lapel to win the sectional. I'm going to stay with Lapel. I just said maybe Bodie Howe might be the best quarterback in Class 2A. He's the best dual threat quarterback in 2A. I'm not so sure. I think the best throwing quarterback in 2A resides at Lapel and Devin Craig. What a phenomenal job he's done. They're never out of a game, and he never panics. How many comebacks has he led his team on to win those close games? Sometimes say, well, they can catch up to you and you can lose one. But the confidence his teammates have in him and in each other because they have been able to come back. That's a nice little nugget to have in your bag when you get to the tournament because you believe, you've been there, you believe you're never out of the game and you believe you can win, even if you have to drive 80 yards in 60 seconds.
Which, of course, he did against Eastern Hancock twice.
Yes.
And he did against Indian Creek. And if you keep doing that too often, going to that well, it's going to get you beat eventually. I picked Lapel to win the sectional before it began. I'm going to change my vote here. That way I'm covered either way. This really is a toss-up game, but last week made me a believer. By the way, we had on Rob Hunt, not only for our Pendleton Heights Yorktown preview, but also our Lapel Triton Central preview, and we talked about our expectations for the game on that one. We move to Class A, where we have 2 sectionals, and Sectional 42 is another one that we have a preview on. We have a couple of new friends at the Central Indiana Sports Report, Sam Wart from Frankfort and Val Sitsaurus in Rochester. And we talked to both of them about this game. Val talking about the Pioneer Panthers and Sam about the Carroll Cougars. Pioneer is ranked 3rd in the state. They are 10-1. Their only loss, a 38-20 loss to Miles McLaughlin and the Knox Redskins. Despite giving up 38 points in that game, they only give up 9 points per game. Very impressive 42-6 win last week over previously unbeaten Frontier. Carroll comes in at 7-3. They've won 4 of their last 5 and beat Winnemac 27-14, and then defending champion Taylor 20-19 last week. Michelle, I have Pioneer worth 4 points. Carroll at home worth 6 as the underdog. Michelle, who you taking, Pioneer or Carroll?
Pioneer. I picked Pioneer from the get-go to win this sectional. I've picked them to win every week, and I believe they're going to win Friday night.
Michelle, I've picked Carroll to win the sectional. I picked Carroll to win every week of the sectional so far, but I'm changing my mind. I've seen enough the last 2 weeks to say that Pioneer not only is going to win this sectional, but they might win more games than that.
Yes, they might.
And our final sectional in Class A is one that we expect to be maybe our least competitive of all of them. The Sheridan Blackhawks at home, 7-2 against 7-4 Cloverdale. Sheridan has won 22 sectional championships, including 3 in a row. Michelle, do they make it 4?
They do. The Blackhawks will win on Friday night.
They had about 1,000 sectional championships under Bud Wright. Now they're about to get their first under first-year head coach Jake Chesney. Michelle, final thoughts on the eve of the championship tournament.
I want to congratulate all the teams that have made it to this week and wish them all good luck. I know it every week when you lose, when it's the end of your season, it's tough. It's tough because you have to say goodbye to seniors.
I was part of 2 sectional championship losses, by the way.
I've covered a lot of them, sectional championships through the years. There's just something special. And I hope the weather stays and is good because, knock on wood, it's been pretty good weather all
It's been
season.
fantastic. Rainy a couple of times, but even that's been limited. And
yeah, it wasn't
a lot of snow coming up during this tournament. I think winter's going to pay us back.
At least right now that the mixed precipitation is not supposed to arrive until Sunday night. But it is going to get cold. It's going to be starting in the 60s, and by the time these games in Friday night, it's going to be down like in the upper 30s. So dress warm, fans. Don't overdress early. Take stuff so you can add layers. Safe travels to all involved.
Kate, Michelle, thank you so much.
Hey, you're welcome, Greg. It's always a pleasure.
Don't forget, on Friday night, we will have our high school sectional championship scoreboard show as close to midnight as possible. And then we will talk about it all on part 2 of our scoreboard show sometime, not Friday night, because those nights got way too late. So we're going to do that either on Saturday. We might do it on Monday, kind of an aftermath of what happened. We'll have guests and we'll have fun. And then we will do this all again next week for our regional championships. We'll have more previews and more predictions. Once again, thanks to Michelle, and thank you for listening. Please do us a huge favor and share this podcast with a high school football fan in your life and help spread the word that the Central Indiana Sports Report is here talking about Central Indiana sports every single day. Appreciate it. By the way, we're on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, SoundCloud, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. If we're on it, if you have it, you can probably find us on it. By the way, we're also the 22nd ranked sports podcast in all of Finland.
Thank you, whoever's listening in Finland.
That's right. The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.